ready.
Let's see. I just let everyone know now. So, but I think we're on live. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, it shows that you're on live.
Whoa, we are on live, people. How's everyone doing today? How is my my favorite couple of 2022 doing?
We're doing awesome.
This day.
We're
Yeah.
doing
Amazing.
Yeah. I love the shirts. When did you guys get the swag? When did you guys get the swag happening?
We got it last month, I think.
Yeah. Less than a month ago.
Nice. Well, you know what? Before we even get into it, like tell us the life, man. Tell us the life of like running a business together as a couple, because I think a lot of people would love that with their partner. So tell us about that real quick.
I think it's fun for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It does have its challenges, of course, because we're always talking about work, and then you kind of have to separate work from love and romance. So that's a little bit of a challenge, but it's nice because we're kind of always having fun.
Yeah. It's just like having another business partner, but you're much more closer to them. So
Yeah.
it's easier to be a little more vulnerable.
Yeah. And it's almost, I would say a lot more trust.
Oh yeah,
as
that's
well.
for sure. Yeah.
It's like going into business with family. And for the most part, you know, like having your brother, having your sister, not that you guys are brothers and sisters, but like having that type of relationship where it's like that very close bonding is hard to come by. So let's kind of get into it. My name is Daniel Francis, if you guys don't know me, but obviously this is my Facebook group. And so what I do is I help, I would say coaches, consultants, but also just business owners in general, scale their brand, scale their business, and scale their marketing, and get very clear on what they do. I think in very simple terms, I give people the clarity that's needed to get to the next level. And so these two right here, Panta joined my communication program probably back in February.
Yeah.
Whoa. And so we can talk a little bit about that. And then Foad, somehow we convinced him. Foad was running a digital marketing agency, and obviously he had, let's just call it, multiple sources of income. And then he created, and then within a few months of us kind of working together, he got very clear on what to do. And then, as you can tell in the title, these two, you would say July and August, you guys had basically close to 50 grand cash collected in about 60 days, which is like pretty freaking awesome. So tell us about yourself, tell us about your business, and tell us about what you guys do.
Sure. Go ahead.
No,
you
go
ahead.
Ladies first.
So my name is Panta, and as you said, I joined your program back in February. First and foremost, I'm a physician, but recently I have touched on some of my other passions, which is entrepreneurship, and that's where he came in.
Yeah. Short and sweet, right? My name is Foad Amreei, and I am an entrepreneur at heart. Always have been from the beginning, and pretty much I started a main business which was in the digital marketing space, which we still have, by the name of First Look SEO. And then I kind of pondered into other fields to see what we can be more of a service of.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much how Amreei Properties started, because we're both very service based. We're driven by helping others.
Yeah. And can you tell us about what exactly is Amreei Properties?
So pretty much Amreei Properties is not only a property management, but an overall partnership in allowing other people, everyday families, to turn their properties, whether it's their original, first home, or it's their vacation rental spot, or any other capabilities that they might have, turning those into short-term rentals, allowing their properties to generate income for them. So what we do is we try to literally change people's lives one property at a time.
Yeah. And I think you guys are a great example of when you understand the marketing and the sales game, when you pivot, it's a lot easier than maybe someone who doesn't know anything about marketing and sales, maybe knows a lot about Airbnb at some level. But because I would say both you guys have the sales and marketing background, when you did make that pivot, you had this brand, you had this personality that people trusted, and you had that reliability factor. And that's why you guys were able to do 50 grand in about 60 days, which is crazy. This is what some people do within a year. You guys did that within 60 days, which is at some level, which, is almost a part-time thing for Panta. And for you, Foad, obviously you still have your digital marketing agency. So it's pretty cool. So My next question for you guys is, what was the biggest problem that you guys had prior to joining the program?
Well, I wouldn't say it was a problem, but we didn't have the company to begin with. So this kind of came about in April or May, I think.
Yeah.
So our problem was that just we didn't have it, but now we do.
Yeah. Yeah. What would you say, Fawad? Like, what was one of the biggest problems? Like, I think me and you have obviously built a relationship from just like the getting you, I wouldn't even say accountable, but just almost giving you the clarity and the guidance. So it was one of the biggest problems when, like, if we look back at the beginning of when we first kind of began together till now.
That's a great question. I would say the problem that first, introduced itself to me was not having, like you said, clarity in your vision, right? And I think understanding what the next step is, not just the overall goal, but just allowing yourself to look at the smaller steps one at a time, that gives you better clarity. And you and I were able to come to the conclusion of, hey, maybe we should restart from step one and build as we go, because we know what the end goal is. The end goal is, I'm an entrepreneur. I would like to create something that will be helpful to me and my family, but also huge, tremendous help to the people that are being of service with.
I do love that. You guys are awesome. I'm sure there's probably gonna be some couples that are watching this like, damn, those two are killing it. So, my next question is, why did you choose me? And I think, I hope as a lot of coaches are watching this is one of the biggest questions of people don't join programs, or they don't join how pretty their marketing is. That gets people's attention, but people buy people, right? And so I'm very curious to hear from Panta, because before Fawad even, before we even came into both of our worlds, Panta followed me, listened to my podcast for about a year. And then how did you convince Mr. Fawad to take the leap? I mean, it was a mix of me, but obviously a mix of you, Panta. And so why did you guys choose this program over other programs? Not that this is the only program, but why did you guys choose this and take the risk into me?
Yeah. Sure. Well, for me, I think I saw that you were very authentic and you showed yourself a lot. You weren't really ever salesy or anything like that. And I felt like you were someone I could trust. And also the fact that you were somewhere that I was hoping to be in the future. So I felt like you knew exactly how I was feeling and you could help me to reach that final goal that I had.
Cool. And really, before we jump on to the next person, Mr. Fawad, what was one of the biggest things that you learned from the communication program? Because my communication program, and obviously now you're in our coaching program, the principles are fairly similar, but what's one of the biggest wins that you've had, like even just working with me personally for the last 5 or 6 months? What's one of like the biggest thing, if you could take one big thing away?
It's really hard to choose one thing, but I would say probably just facing your fears. And when you face your fears in life, everything around you shifts and things happen for you and not to you.
Yeah. Would you say that like overcoming your communication hurdles and growing a business, do you find a lot of similarities?
Yes. And I think it's improved every aspect of my life. As you can see now, I'm in a new home and everything. I moved out. So there's been a lot of wins throughout your program.
I remember you coming to me saying, Daniel, do you think I should move out? Do you think I should do my own thing? How did that conversation happen? I think you just brought it up.
Yeah, I think we were on a call and you were like, you need to change your environment. You need to be on your own. And I said, I don't know about that. And then I was like, no, I think you're right. And you were right in the end.
Yeah. Okay, cool. How about you, Fawad? Why did you choose me over someone else? And I'm like, I know you've obviously, like, you are a good example of, you've learned a lot. You do have a wealth of knowledge. So even like being teachable to someone probably wasn't the easiest thing to do, because you have this, it's not an ego. It's more of like, I know what I'm doing. I don't want to change my direction. So now I'm going to allow someone to come into my life and kind of start giving me guidance. Why did you let down your guard and actually take advice from someone?
I love the way you put it, because if I think about it, going back to who I was back then and understand the question at a deeper context, it really is understanding, you know a lot. Yes, you know the direction that you want to go, but if you haven't been able to do it yourself, there has to be a reason. And everybody on an individual level, we don't know everything. So we can't think that, oh, why would I ever get help from another person when I've already tried it myself? Because not everybody has all the best answers. And I think when I saw you, one of the main reasons was you were so structured. You not only did what I want to do and accomplished what I want to accomplish, at least for the next few steps, but you also did it in a very structured manner where you had processes in place. And for me, that's very important because I'm kind of more the creative type. I kind of go all over the place sometimes. So I needed to slow it down and just to say, you know what, maybe with all this, like you said, all this learning that I've done, all these books, all these courses that I've done by myself, like YouTube University, as I call it, maybe that's just not the right strategy because it's not as structured as I need it to be. So I need somebody who has the structure that worked already. So I didn't have to guess that because I knew it worked because we were following you. We were looking at what you were doing. And, you know, I'm really, really glad. I really got to say, I'm really glad that we took that leap of faith and we're here today.
It's crazy. I know, like looking back at it, you're just like, well, this is my life now. But it's good to look back at like where you guys were months ago. And it's very similar with me. It's sometimes you forget about that because you're in the day-to-day grind. You're like, when you actually look at what's happening right now and you realize what decisions you made. And you have a very good story, Fawad, because when we first chatted and I was like, this is what it costs. You were into it, but then something happened and then you're like, and I want you to be vulnerable if you're cool with that and kind of talk about that and still moving forward. Because now we're laughing at that because you were about to join and then you went through some financial hit and you're like, how am I going to pay some person now and move forward? Like I shouldn't be doing this, you know? And so talk about that because that's a great story, bro.
Thank you. So I guess it all really started in 2020 when I had a shift of my life where, of course, everybody went through the same the pandemic and the crisis that they may have faced. For me, it was more of the going through trials and errors and always being inconsistent in my results, meaning I would climb and I go back to where I was, climb and I go back to where I was. So that inconsistency in my life really created a drifting mindset, meaning that I was not able to focus and I was not even motivated, but I didn't have the vision and I couldn't see exactly what it was that I wanted because everything bad kept happening. Until I realized, because I knew this from a child, your mind literally starts everything. So the way you think, the way you feel towards something, it really justifies the actions and the results you get in life. And once I've seen that I'm getting so many bad things happening to me over and over and over again, I knew it was my fault. But and I was already in a negative place in my head. So for me to go from that negative place, right, and think, oh, like Ford that I want is up here, and I gotta go to like Daniel to be able to bring me up here, it was almost like an ego trip for me. That's why it took me a little bit of time until literally I was going to start anyway. I got to a point of being so frustrated with myself that I said, you know what, honey, I'm going to go with Daniel. I'm going to start. She's like, yeah, absolutely do it. It's going to be the best, everything. On the day that I decided to do this, you know what they say, the universe always throws you curveballs right before you hit the home run, right? On that day, I had the biggest financial burden of, I would say, my decade, where I don't mean to cuss, I say stuff hit the fan. So literally, I got into an accident, not with one car, but two cars that I was fully at fault with. I had to pay them off. I had major expenses come up for my living expenses and some people that I had to help out. And on top of that, I was literally for the first time ever behind on my bills. And I have like great credit because I'm always about like being structured properly financially. But when that happened, it was almost like a sign from God saying, hey, this is your doing. You literally did all of this on yourself. So if you continue to do this, this is the path you're going to be leading. So literally, I went so far down on a mindset level and a chaotic perspective on life that I said, okay, you know what? This is more than reason for me to just do a Hail Mary and give all the money that I don't have. I literally had to borrow the money and then pay it back just to get started with you. Because I knew that if I was to go through another free university, YouTube University, it wouldn't push me the way you would have pushed me. So that's what happened. Literally, I said, okay, I'm below ground zero. Now there's only this push up.
Yeah. And I always talk about this, like when people have to hit rock bottom to actually realize like, all right, I gotta change what I'm doing. So what were you thinking, Panta, during this whole time? Because obviously you went through my communication program. So obviously there was that trust factor. And so what were you telling Fawad in his ear?
I think with Fawad, you can't really push him so much. So I
Yeah.
was dropping hints here and there, and I knew he would eventually stand up, but I was waiting for that one thing to push him over the edge. I'm not happy that it was a car accident, but at least it was something
Yeah.
to really, like, wake up.
Yeah.
And now, as you said, we've made 50K in 2 months, and that would have never happened had he not taken that leap of faith.
Yeah. And that's pure profit. Like that's pure income for you guys, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Fawad, isn't that
It would
ridiculous?
It would take like 1,000 or 2.
Yeah. Like technically we're in September and it's a slower month, quote unquote,
Slower
for
trial
the
month,
for the market. But what, it's like a 10, 15 grand month so far within the month. And you guys have another, what, week and a half?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were projecting 15K by the end
And-
of this month.
And so now it's like a bad month is 15 grand.
Yeah, which is completely insane because that it just all happened so fast that it's just kind of like a shock phase almost, that we're like, whoa, is this real? Like, is this actual values that we're seeing in our account, or is it all fake? Is it gonna all blow up and go away?
Fawad's going to say something. Are you going to say something, Fawad, or no?
Yeah, I was just gonna add, the reason why we got to this is many reasons. Like with you, exactly to say, was it because we said, okay, now we have a structure in place, we just follow these steps and we'll get there? It literally started on a personal level. Like you had to come in and completely reset our brain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where teachability and coachability comes in. And you were so on point about it. I have to say, we give credit where it's due, where you said,
Appreciate
don't even. I remember one of the programs, not the program, one of the, I would say, courses, a part of
The modules.
the module that I used. I asked you because you were using some other form to some external place or other educational sources to back your studies up. And I said, hey, do I really need to go there? Like, do you think it's gonna work? And all you said was, I did it, it worked. And so all my friends, I'm like, okay, then let's do it. And I literally did it and it worked.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people don't realize this. Like majority of the game, and this is going to sound crazy, but I would say 95% of this game is a lot about the mind. And so you can have the best strategy, you can have the best tactics, you can best have everything. But if the mind isn't on point, you can be given the leads and it could be a home run. But if you show up and Fawad, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You show up with that client who needs you to be on your best game, but you're not because it's chaotic up here. Like you just, those leads are going to seep through your hands, right? Seep through your hands. And so I think for both of you, I think February for Panta and maybe for you, Fawad, maybe I would say March or April. Till now, it's like the identity of who you guys both have. You would look at yourself back in the day and laugh. Correct or no?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so technically on paper, you guys have done basically 75 grand. Sorry, 65 grand in the last 90 days. That's crazy. And just to put things into perspective, like what'd you guys do from January to what, May or June? Like anything close to that?
No, I think in that time span, we did probably like 20,000 across like 4 months.
Yeah. So almost triple.
Yeah, and the cool thing was that I was able to use your help in my first business as well, which also.
Yeah, we even talk about that. Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, exactly. Even though my focus was here, I of course I have both focuses everywhere, like both places, but it literally just trickled over to the next one.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, maybe it's literally just my mindset just attracted all those people to all shapes of our lives.
Yeah, for sure. Like we said 50 grand just in the Airbnb business, but we didn't talk about the deals that you closed for your own agency. Yeah. Crazy, man. Ridiculous. Cool. So I mean, we just we did talk about it, but what are like some of the biggest wins that you guys got, like outcome wise, within your own business, within working within this program?
You go first this time.
We're talking about the first business, right?
Well, but I just, you know what, both, because I guess let's talk about both. Let's talk about Amreei Properties and then First Look SEO, your digital marketing agency.
It's okay. You go first this time.
Well, I'll talk about First Look SEO and then she'll let you know what Amreei Properties. First Look SEO, my original baby, was kind of just always stagnant in growth, going up and down. And then what happened was, after I shifted my mindset towards the direction that you and your team wanted us to go towards, and I actually implemented those strategies that you had put in place through your program, it's really funny because you don't really, you hear this stuff online, like in ads and this and that, you don't really believe it all the time, but then when it's yourself saying it, you're like, wow, I wonder how many people are gonna believe me, because it's true.
Yeah.
I literally got two of our biggest ongoing clients that is going to project triple or quadruple of annual earnings within the next year, because they're so big that we can literally go towards the entire new industry in the digital marketing space. And on top of that, I was able to get connected with so many people just through my strategies that you implemented for me. And those people are part of my, I would say, lead generation sources now. So I literally have an autonomous lead generation coming in just because I implemented one single strategy. So that's massive.
Wow, that's awesome. It's wicked. Do you want to add anything for the Amreei properties, Panta?
Yeah, I would say for Amreei properties, like one thing that we've seen from you, I don't know, I haven't said this to you before, but I'm saying it for the first time, is something we saw in your program is that you are constantly providing value, and you provide a lot of free value as well. So that's something kind of that we've applied with our clients as well, like constantly providing value. And that has led to like referral after referral after referral. So like we just have clients coming up like right center, like everywhere, and we don't even have like, we can't even handle all of it. So it's just, we really learned like providing that value is top priority, and then everything will kind of follow on its own.
Yeah. No, see, you guys are good examples, and some people, it will take them time to really understand this. But when you're going down this game of business and coaching and growing companies, when you have too many voices offering their opinion, it scatters you and it basically overwhelms you. But when you kind of focus on one or even two different voices, it gives you the focus and the structure of making certain decisions. And I think you guys are good examples of that, of like, look, this is what I'm doing, let's just model it. This is what I'm doing, let's just do it. And I think that kind of gave you the clarity. I know that really worked for me. When I have like 5 or 6 or 7 different coaches, they're going to bump heads. And so I'm like, which one do I listen to more? I think you guys both have a lot of knowledge and a lot of ambition. I think giving you guys the structure and like the focus of like, we're just going to model this person, is allowing you guys to have a lot of leads and build a great business together. My next question to you, and I know we're talking about this before, but where do you think you would be right now if you didn't take action and join the program? Like, give me more details other than you be in the same boat. Like, where do you think you guys really would be?
That's a good question. Well, for me, I think I would still just be a physician. Not really, have anything else.
I think there's more to it. On a personal level, I think both of us, we wouldn't have the mindsets that we have right now. So mentally, which would project itself in physical and financial form, we would be in the same, I would say, either roller coaster or the same stagnant minor improvements. Because I don't want to say like, oh, we're just always downhill. It's not, that's not who we are, right? But we wouldn't be able to scale our overall improvements at the, I would say, compounding interest that we've gathered with you.
I think we have attained success a lot faster than we would have if we were trying to figure it out on our own.
We would have faced a lot of adversity, which we would have to face and dealt with. Like, we have to deal with it and understand how to deal with it, rather than saying, hey, you went through this, what did you do? Oh, do this. Okay, implement, done. So, a lot more steps to get to the same process. Sorry, same plot.
Well, that's what you guys are doing, right? You guys are taking, you're either paying within time or within money. And so it's like at this level, you'll start to realize like your time is worth more. Like if you can get things done at a younger age by spending more money, maybe money that you don't have, you do speed up the process. And I think for a lot of people, they're scared to that because they're scared to maybe go into debt, or what if it doesn't work? And I really want to talk about that because I think I'm very big on not pushing people to make decisions, but realizing like the biggest challenge is getting people to just make a damn decision. And so I'd love to talk about that with both of you guys, because getting even like getting your own clients. And so there's this energetic factor that we haven't really talked about, but when you spend money, the law is the universe gives money back to you. And I want you guys to talk about that, because I think that's what happened to both you guys. This is really your first real coaching program that you guys have spent money on, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Like your first, like Panta went to school, spent probably, I don't want to know how much money it was to become a physician, right? I think Fawad, I think you probably had like certain mentors, but you could say this is the real first coaching program that you guys actually spent money on with someone that you haven't actually met in person initially, then we actually met in person. But talk about that, of making a decision to spend money and then naturally the universe pays you back on that. Because I think a lot of people realize they're like, I love hearing this line. Okay, Daniel, once I start making a couple sales and making some money, then I'll start working with you. I'm like, that's not how it works. You don't get, and then you start giving after. It's the opposite. So do you guys understand where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I wish you would go first.
This is a good question, right? It's a good question.
Yeah, I think when we pay someone else and we see the value in them, then we realize that, okay, we are also offering value in what we offer. So I felt confident and comfortable saying, yeah, our setup fee is now 5,000 when at first it was only 1,000. And I could say that with confidence because I know the value of the services that we offer. And I saw that within you as well. And the prices you charge.
So this is big. This is huge for everyone listening. If you want to sell high ticket, you have to spend and you have to buy a high ticket. Like I'm sorry, I wish I could give you an easier way, but to have the confidence and the conviction, you got to be able to dish it out, brother and sister. But yes, go on.
Exactly. High ticket sales are by far the best approach that you can go towards. And in order for you to get there, you need to not only be confident, but you need to actually show proof of how you will get there. And it all starts with why.
Yeah.
So I believe many people are living in the how when they should be living in the why. When you live in the how, when your question is how am I going to afford this? Or how is this going to happen? How would I go from where I am? I can't really see what's going on. It's like saying you have a radar that shows you everything on the radar, but this is your how. And your why is outside of your radar. That's where everything you want is. Everything you ever want is out here, but you're so focused on the small picture, you will never see the big picture. So you will never even see yourself there. So once you pay to get in, you paying for something is literally triggering triggering your neurons to say, okay, we have given something, now we're waiting for something to come back.
Mm-hmm. And I'm worthy of it. Now I'm worthy of it back.
Yeah. When was the last time that you received something that you didn't do anything for and you held it as valuable to you as you did for the same item that you either paid for with time or money or effort? Mm-hmm. So that's literally what it was with you. And the last thing I want to add is once we made that decision to pay, it wasn't because we're like, okay, we're going to see it through. I'm going to pay and we're going to get all the results. Everything's going to happen, And it also wasn't, okay, I'm going to give it my all because I know I'm worth it and I know this and that. No, it was like, I want to see where this is going to go. And I don't have the answers personally.
It's just a blind faith at that point too.
And you need to be in the right environment. You can't get you can't become a very successful architect by hanging around a bunch of bricklayers.
Yeah, exactly. We'll talk about the community aspect because you guys have been on a couple of coaching calls. Obviously, Panta was on today. Like talk about the community aspect of being with other entrepreneurs. How's that affected you? Obviously, you guys know this, but even like just being part of this community as well.
Yeah, it's just like he was saying, like who you surround yourself with is so crucial. And if everyone around you is succeeding, at some point you will succeed too. Whereas if you're just hanging around people who are not really successful or doing anything, like you will drift and be like them too. So that's what I love about the community aspect of it.
And just to clarify, we're not talking about our personal friends or family. We're literally talking which it could be, but we're talking about the growth aspect of it. Like if you're always in the same work environment, if you're getting advice from the same type of people in the same level of business that they're at, You can only go so far, and then you have to upgrade yourself to kind of push yourself up so the people above you can pull you up.
Yeah. I think it happens energetically. Like you have to adapt. Like either you will show up on these calls and be like, what the heck am I doing? Like, or naturally you're like, all right, I have to better myself and raise my standards up. And that's what happens when you join a community like this or join whatever it is. Your standards increase. Like Foad's and Panta's standard now is high ticket. They will never sell a setup fee for $1,000 ever again. It will never happen because the standard has changed. And when Foad talks to that person, when he does the sales process, like there's no conviction. There's no like, come on, man, I'll give you 2,000. Let's do it. Like, that's not how we operate here. And I remember I had that conversation with Foad. I'm like, that's not how we operate here. Remember that? That isn't a conversation.
Classic.
Right. Because you are going to be like your client's going to be an example of you. So if you as a person, whoever's watching this, negotiates and you try to get the cheapest rate ever, and then you want to go and sell something for the price that you're asking for, that makes no sense logically.
It doesn't align with your values at that point.
No. And so like, I love when I talk to people and they try to negotiate. I'm like, so let me get this right. You want to negotiate with me, but when someone tries to negotiate with you, it's going to be a different story. Well, I mean, that's different. Like, no,
The same.
it's going to be the same thing. Right. And so, you have to be an example for your clients. Right. And so when you do that, energetically with with your own conviction, you will have the confidence to stay true to what you offer, and you start to value what you offer. Also, when you sell high ticket, you start to value what you offer. And I'm sure with both of you guys both agree with that. So my last question for both of you is, for the people that are watching this, whether it's on the live or the replay, and people that are on the fence about booking a call to work with me, this is just a complete, I think, for everyone watching this, whenever you're looking for a coach or once you get over the hump of like, all right, I should look for help. The second question is who is the right coach? Who is the right coach for me? Right. So, and you really can judge a person based on not just how they are, but the clients around them. Like if you want to go reach out to Panta and Foad, I mean, they are paid actors. So, I mean, those two are a different example, but no, I'm kidding. And so for the people that are watching this and that are on the fence of potentially either joining because they've talked to me before or are thinking about booking a call with them, what words would you have to say to them? Panta,
yeah, I'll go first. Well, for me, I think I would just say, take the leap of faith and don't be afraid. Honestly, what is the worst thing that could happen?
Yeah.
I can't think of it. And obviously you saw I was with you since February, and then he's on, and you can see for yourself the success that we've had. It's real. It's not fake. The process works. And I think if you're on the fence and you decide maybe you don't want to sign up right now, or it's not a good time, the only person you're hurting is yourself at the end of the day.
I love it. Foad.
I believe that everybody has two of themselves. There is the pseudo self, which is the normal self, and then there's the higher self. And the higher self usually shows itself in like your intuition. And if you keep getting to these thoughts or patterns or these behavioral patterns, which keeps bringing you back to the problem, it means your higher self, your whatever it may be that you believe in, or even just your intuition is telling you, hey, there's something within that needs to change. There's something that needs your attention. And if your pseudo self, your lower self, keeps trying to attack that problem and it doesn't get to the solution, is because you don't yet have the capacity or I would say the products to tackle that solution, tackle that problem. So what you need is you need to go to someone who has already done it. Don't go too far up. Like what I always say is, if you can get someone that you can see their work and you can see yourself getting there, right? Like for example, I probably wouldn't hire you if you were at this level, a $1 million coach. Because I'm like, okay, what am I doing at this level? I can't even see myself at that level, but I could see myself at 6 figures. I could see myself as multiple 6 figures. And that's why I want to go to you, because you've done it. And I'm tired of thinking the same way, thinking that I have the answers. I'm tired of going about everything the same process, right? It's about time that my higher self is heard. stop thinking, make the decision. Literally, just stop thinking and just make that decision. The
love
worst
it.
thing that could happen is that years are gonna go by, and all of these limiting beliefs that you're gonna have are going to empower you and have this shadow of negativity over you, just because you just kept thinking about, oh, I don't know, maybe, how. No, stop it. Just stop thinking. Just go do it.
I think he's talking to himself right now.
I'm looking at myself
Yeah,
right
he's
now.
like so angry. Okay.
Well, I think it's made a huge impact in both you guys' lives, and that's what this is all about. It's about that genuinity of, because that's who you're really talking to, is the older version of yourself. You know, we're talking to the version of Panta when I text you that one night of like, hey, you're doing this at the end of the month. What are we doing here? You're like, oh, okay, sure, right?
Yeah, I was like, should I do it? Should I do it? And I'm so glad I did.
And so that's the idea, is just taking a leap of faith. And so, guys, I appreciate it. Any last words that you want to give the audience?
No, thank you for having us. Always
Yes.
a pleasure.
Thank you so much. And whoever's watching, just remember, you don't have all the answers. You really
Daniel
don't.
does.
And think about it. Daniel didn't have all the answers until he got a mentor himself.
Exactly.
And his mentor did the same. And this is not just coming from me. I spent countless hours studying the greatest of the world, and they're all doing this. So
Yeah.
what can we?
I love it, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I can't wait to see more of your success, and definitely come over for a barbecue very soon. All right, Panta?
Please do.
Sounds
Okay,
good.
guys. See you later.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good one.